Hello, Class 4-1 Orange Group, and hello, Class 5-1 Orange Group. Mr. Waterman here with your lesson for today on Friday, April 16th, 2021. If you are in 5-1 Orange Group, this is your lesson for Period 2. And if you are in 4-1 Orange Group, this is your lesson for Period 4. I've decided to do joint lessons for Friday because both of my classes are expected to complete the same activity. In periods 1 and 3, I talked about signing the student contract and sending it back to me. And now, in periods 2 and 4, I'm going to talk about the answers to the wonderful interview questions that you all sent me over the last couple of days. What I would like you to do with these answers is I would like you to write about what you learned about your teacher, Mr. Waterman, for this weekend's journal topic. Now, you can give your journal any topic you want about this subject that we've talked about. It doesn't have to be what I learned about Mr. Waterman. It can be something like my new teacher, Mr. Waterman, anything you want, because you all were excellent reporters, and so, as excellent reporters, it's only fair that you get to choose the title for your journal to tell your story about what you learned about your teacher. Okay, so I'm just going to read through some of the questions as well as to give my answers, okay? One of the questions that I received was, what is your favorite ice cream in summer? Well, that was a difficult question because I love ice cream and I love so many different flavors. But I have to say that I love mint chocolate chip ice cream in summer because mint is really cool and refreshing. And no matter how hot outside it is, mint chocolate chip ice cream, it really knows how to make me feel cool and refreshed, and it tastes so good too. Another question that I was asked was about, do I like to travel and where I like to travel? Well, yes, I love traveling. I have traveled around Japan to many places such as Hokkaido and Kyoto and Shizuoka and Osaka and Hakata and Kyushu. I have traveled to more than 20 countries. Some of the countries I've traveled to in Asia have been Korea. I've been to Korea 3 times now. I have also traveled to Taiwan and Singapore and Vietnam and Thailand, and I just love so much about Asia. I have been to several countries in Europe as well. I have been to Germany and Switzerland and Italy, France, and Spain. And I loved Italy because I learned how to make homemade pasta. Wonderful, wonderful experience. I spent 1 month in Italy many years ago. And I loved Switzerland because Switzerland has some of the best chocolate in the world. Chocolate and cheese. Oh my goodness. I would love to go to Switzerland again, and the mountains are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, some other questions that I had, do I like to grow plants and why? Well, I haven't grown any plants by planting seeds, but I do take care of plants, and I made a few videos last year about the plants that I have at my house. I have a big rubber tree, and I love my rubber tree because it grows in different directions. It loves sunlight, and it brightens up my room. I have a total of 4 plants. What do I like to do at night? I like to relax. I like to go home, listen to some music, cook dinner, watch the news. Sometimes I watch a movie or a TV show on Netflix. It really depends. I sometimes read, but I usually go to bed very early, so it's important for me to relax. I had a really good question about what kind of carnivorous animals I like. That was a really, really interesting question. I would have to say, because I'm a cat person and I like cats big and small, my favorite carnivorous animal would have to be the cheetah, because the cheetahs run really fast. They're very quiet when they are sneaking up on their prey that they are going to hunt, and then they can catch them. My other favorite carnivorous animals are owls. I think owls are some of the most beautiful creatures on earth. I think they are excellent hunters because when they fly, their wings flap silently so that their prey cannot hear them coming. I have also visited several owl cafes in Tokyo, so I've had a chance to hold owls, and they are just very peaceful creatures. Another question was, what is my favorite sport in winter? Well, I don't ski or ice skate all that much, but I love cycling, and I cycle all seasons because it's a great way to get exercise. And I love cycling in winter because winter in Japan, in Tokyo, it's very sunny outside. So I do quite a bit of cycling in the morning time in the winter during the school breaks and also in the afternoon. Okay. This question came up quite a bit. Why is my Korean name Taejun Lee? Well, as you know, I give my students English names, and I had one class in particular. They are now at the junior high school across the way, Junior High School 3, and they decided that if they were going to have English names, it was only going to be fair that I have a Korean name. So my Korean first name, Taejun, it's a combination from two students. One student whose first name began with Tae, and another student whose first name ended with June. So I put their names together, or they put their names together, and that's how Taejun Lee was born. Another great question, why do I wear bow ties, or sometimes bow ties every day? Well, my mother was a teacher, and when she was a teacher, she always got dressed up for work. And what I learned from her is that when you dress up for work and you feel good about how you look, then you will do a good job. And she also said, when you dress up for work, people take you seriously. And that means they know that you are here to do a good job because you put all this effort into your outfits. You're going to put a lot of effort into your work. And this is advice I still use today. Another question is, why did I come to Japan from New York? Well, I came to Japan because I had never been to a country in Asia before. I chose Japan because I had been interested in Japanese culture, the food, and I also was interested in traveling to countries in Asia. That's why I came, and here I am, 16 years later. Great questions. Some more questions I have. This was a good question. When I was in grade 5, was there a pandemic, such as the COVID-19 pandemic we are experiencing? The answer to that was no. When I was in grade 5, there was not a pandemic like this going on, but there were people around the world suffering from many different diseases at that time, but it was nothing as serious as what we are experiencing now. When I was in grade 5, I could go to school every day. I could see my friends every day. I could see my teachers every day. So this is definitely different from when I was a student. Another question that I had was was my father a teacher? And if he was, what did he teach? Well, my father was not a teacher. My mother was a teacher. She was a preschool and kindergarten teacher. And my grandmother was also a teacher. My grandmother taught piano to children and adults for many years. She tried to teach me piano, but as much as I love listening to classical music and to the piano, my heart and my passion was in dancing. Why do I make English names for students? Because the students love it. And in recent years, I have tried to give the students an English name as close to the spelling or sound of their Korean names as possible. For example, I had a student last year named Soo-hyun. And so her English name was very easy for me to make. I simply called her Sue. I had another student as well. His name is Junhyuk, so I decided to keep the J, but I called him Jonah. Really good questions here. I hope you guys are taking good notes. This question was from a student, and they wanted to know, I teach language arts and mathematics now. Is there another subject I would be interested in teaching? Yes. I love history. I love teaching about world history and learning about and helping my students to learn about other countries. And I also love PE class. When I was in grade 3, I liked teaching my students how to do yoga for kids. I also liked teaching them how to jump rope. And I also loved playing dodgeball with the students. Another student wanted to know, what do I do to relax and to get rid of stress? Well, I talked about what I do to relax at home. In order to get rid of stress, well, I love going to the gym. And some of your parents may have seen me at the gym. I like to go to Anytime Fitness here in Kaoracho. And I go very early in the morning. So I wake up at 4 a.m., I'm on the train by 5 a.m., and I'm at Anytime Fitness by 6 a.m., and after I leave Anytime Fitness, I come to Tokyo Korean School. This question here was a student who wanted to know what my favorite book was. And he gave me choices. And I told him, yes, I like the author Roald Dahl, but my two favorite authors, the first one is Toni Morrison. She passed away a few years ago, but she wrote many interesting books. Maybe some of your parents have read her books or have heard about her. She's a very talented author, and she had an amazing way with words and describing things. She was really, really good at grammar, which is another reason why I like grammar. My other favorite author, his name is John Grisham. Your parents probably know this author too. Many of his books have been turned into movies and TV shows, as well as Toni Morrison's books. This question came from a student, and the student wanted to know, why did I want to become a teacher at Tokyo Korean School? This is a really important question. I, at the time, had been living in Japan for 7 years. And then I decided maybe I want to move to another country to live. So I went to look for a new job in Hong Kong. And at the time, I was offered a teaching job in Beijing, China. But I didn't know if I wanted to live in Beijing, China. So I thought and I thought and I thought, and I said, what am I going to do? I want to try living in a new country, but I don't want to work and live in Beijing. Then suddenly I saw Tokyo Korean School needed a teacher. I said, a Korean school in Tokyo? This could be an interesting place for me to work. I can still live in Japan, but I can work in a Korean school, learn about Korean culture, teach Korean students. This can be a new challenge for me. So I applied for that job in 2013, and here I am today. When you were a child, what was your dream? Well, if you can believe it, my dream when I was a child was to be a teacher. Because my mom, at first, she started out as an assistant teacher at my school. So she would help students who had trouble reading. And those students were really motivated, and it was because of the way my mother would motivate them. She had different rewards, she had games that she played with them, and I loved seeing the classmates of mine that she helped so much that I wanted to be my mom's own student in school, even though she taught me at home as well. And I decided that seeing students, seeing people so happy and so eager to learn, that's what I wanted to do when I grew up, and here I am. What is your favorite game? I like two video games. The first one is Super Mario Brothers. The second one is Pac-Man. And in terms of card games, Uno is my favorite. Those of you who have been in my classroom know I have many stacks of Uno cards. Another question is, what is your favorite place in Japan? I live way out in the suburbs of West Tokyo. I'm almost in Saitama, so I'm at the end of Tokyo. So there's a lake that I ride my bicycle to. It's called Sayama Lake, and this is my favorite place to go to on a sunny day because on one side there's a beautiful, beautiful lake. On the other side, there's a big, beautiful park. I can have the best of both worlds. I go up there to have lunch. I go up there to de-stress and relax. And I go up there to just have thinking time. And this is a great question. What is the most difficult thing about preparing online lessons? This right here, making videos, because you want to make a good video for your students. You want it to be close to perfect, but sometimes there are mistakes. Making videos takes time. This video is almost 20 minutes. After I'm finished with this video, then I have to wait for it to upload. Sometimes it might take 20 minutes or more just to upload, depending on the strength of the Wi-Fi in school. When I'm at home, it uploads a little bit faster than that. Also, I'm talking the entire time. When you are in school, we are talking to each other. Students are raising their hands. I'm calling on students. So there's more of a back and forth conversation going on. When you make online lessons, it's not fun because I can't see you. I can't hear you. You know, I don't know if my students are there, if they're watching, if they're out having fun. It's really hard to tell. Plus, the hardest thing, another difficult thing about making online lessons is we don't know if all of the students are doing the work. So we don't know if you're understanding everything. So we have to wait until you come back to school. But luckily, grade 4 is coming back on Monday, and grade 5 is coming back next Friday, and I can't wait. That's it for this video. I look forward to reading about what you wrote about me in your journals. Remember that you can go back and rewatch different parts of this video in case you missed answers to the questions. Remember, your journals should be written in paragraphs. I want, if you're in grade 4, to write 2 paragraphs at least. If you're in grade 5, to write 3 or more paragraphs. And if you're in grade 4, if you want to write more than 2 paragraphs, go ahead. If you're in grade 5, if you want to write more than 3 paragraphs, please do. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care, stay safe and well. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.